was now years later, and I found myself in my darkest hour. I sat for 3 days in my room, crying and confessing all of my hurts and fears and sins to God, but I still felt alienated by Him. I was hoping to hear a deep voice or see a burning dresser, like the bush with Moses, but nothing ever happened. As the silence of my past started screaming loudly to the point where I couldn't bear it anymore, I slowly picked up my subcompact 40 caliber Springfield Armory pistol and I placed it to my head. I took a deep breath and exhaled very slowly as the next couple of seconds of my life moved slowly throughout my head. It was then and only then could I hear the birds chirping outside of my window. With my right hand trembling with the gun in it, I knelt on my right knee facing the bed, eager to meet my fate, when something came over me and said, "Pause."
You ended it on my favorite part of the book. So welcome everybody to Face with Tarrance Weaver. Tarrance is one of my favorite authors. He's new to the scene, but you guys are getting ready to read the most explosive book you've ever read. And before we get into the pause and what that meant and where you got that concept from, I'm sure everybody wants to know who's Tarrance, why did he write this amazing book? So tell our audience what first made you write Face to Face.
Face to Face, where life meets reality. That was a life-changing moment in my life. As you heard me talk about in my darkest hour, I was talking about how I ended it with the gun to my head, and God kind of basically telling me to pause. But it was just all of those emotions and all of the things I was running from in life. I never dealt with the hurt, the pain, the heartache. Who I thought I was, I really wasn't. I was constantly evolving, and I could never catch a grasp on who I was. So when God told me to move to Chicago, I had the opportunity to sit down and be still. And that's one thing that was constantly going in my head, in my mind. I felt like in my spirit, God just said, "Be still, be still, be still." But I was too nervous. I felt like I was in the middle of a tornado.
Be still. As Christians, Tarrance and I are both Christians.
Yes.
We talk a lot about being still. It's like a cliche word. But I know many people are going to read this book, may not be a Christian.
Right.
Can you kind of give them a concept of what being still meant when you were sitting here writing this book?
I literally had to deal with my past. The things I did not want to face, I had to face them. And that was the hardest thing to me.
So you were still in the moment, still just sitting there reflecting, letting God lead you through these conversations?
I was basically allowing God to allow me to walk with me through these scenarios and situations in my life.
That had to be hard.
It was very hard and emotional. Because I had to take ownership of the mistakes that I made in life, and I didn't want to do that. But also, I was pushing the blame. I was pushing the blame on other people, on my dad, on my mom, on my brothers, and everybody that I wanted to push the blame on, I did. But I did not want to keep the blame on myself for my failures, for lost time, and where I felt like I was in life. I felt like I should have been further in life. But at this time, here I am, 38. I'm actually 33. Sorry. So here I am 33 when I go on this journey with God, and I didn't want to deal with any of it.
So you sat down, you were reflecting on your life, you knew things that had to change. But what made you want to put it in a book for everyone to read? There are going to be some criticism. There's going to be some that didn't really happen. There's going to be all this to make you relive this over and over. Why? Why the book?
It's funny. God actually woke me up at 2:30 every morning, and I just felt like I needed to do something. So one day I just grabbed my computer and I just set it on my bed. And I was like, if I wake up at 2:30 the next morning, I'm just going to write whatever comes through my mind. And I did. And after I wrote, my first chapter, not realizing it was a chapter, I set out to contact one of my friends who's a character in the book. And I was like, hey, can you write this book for me? And she's like, no, this is your thing to do. So I was like, no, come down. And I went and actually visit her in Springfield, Missouri to write the book. She interviewed me and everything, and it came back to me. And she put it on my plate. She's like, this is something that has to be done by you, the emotion and everything that you're putting in it, and your darkest hour. this is your project. So she gave it back. And was upset.
So it was really a project for you, something for you to really heal from.
Yeah, when God gives you a destination or a gift, he wants you to do it, not somebody else. And that was the hardest thing. It was his vision and my dream.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yes. Yeah, I think we all can kind of like grasp that part when we're waking up and we're like, I just know I got to finish this project, or I just know I got to start this project. So, I mean, you definitely did it. Now, so we keep talking about this concept. You know, you ended on the pause. You left everybody at the edge of their seat. So give them a little bit. What is the pause concept?
The pause concept. To be honest with you, the pause concept then and now, it has evolved over the years. And at that moment in time when God told me to stop and to pause, I stopped and I paused, but I didn't really truly understand what it meant at that time. As I reflect back on it now, the pause concept to me it was an opportunity to move forward, to not be selfish, to think about the endless possibilities of what could be or what could happen. And as I've talked to different people that read the book, pause meant to them what it means to me now. It means a second chance. It means to see life from a different point of view. It means that my future son or my future grandchild or my future great-great-grandchild has an opportunity or a chance. And you don't really realize the weight of your decisions in that moment when you're angry, when you're mad, because you only think about yourself.
Yeah.
So that gave me an opportunity in that pause when I had the gun to my head and I'm just sitting there and my hands trembling. And all I could think about was the hurt, the pain. All I can think about was my dead brother or my mom. All I could think about was just being alone and how burdened I felt.
Right.
How unimportant I felt. And my worthlessness was gone. I felt so worthless.
Yeah.
So at that moment and that time when God told me to pause, that was everything.
Right.
And now when I look back, it was a selfish moment. I couldn't believe how selfish I was at that time.
The pause concept was a selfish moment?
It was an enlightening moment for me to realize how selfish I was. And how I was only thinking about myself. So when God was like, pause, that gave me a second chance to overlook everything. And perception is everything.
Yo, I love that part. So just giving you guys a little story into when I first started reading this book, I called Tarrance one day. Angry, right? You remember that?
Yes.
Mad. I had a family member who I just felt was being drugged through the mud, and I let my anger overtake me. At this point, I'm listening to Tupac, and I said, I need to do something else. I got to call Tarrance. And the first thing I said, yo, Tarrance, what did I say? What's the pause concept? Say it to me again. Because the book had an impact, and I needed to hear that. And you repeated it, right? Like, listen, pause for a second.
No.
You know, he told me God loves that family more than you do. And I was like, oh, okay, you're right, you know? So definitely your book has a huge impact. The pause concept is amazing because it literally did take me out of that selfish moment that you're talking about, of how I can like inflict pain on somebody who's inflicting pain on my family member.
Yes.
But it's selfish. It's only going to work for a moment.
It is.
Dead on.
And even revenge. Revenge is I think Tupac says the sweetest thing.
For the moment, right? Yeah, right.
Revenge seems so sweet. And, you know, the guy killed my brother. His father-in-law shot him in the back and with a 12-gauge shotgun. And when he killed my brother, the only thing I could think of was revenge.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And not wanting to hurt or feel that hurt, that pain. Because I felt like that's what my brother would want me to do. Because if I died, I know that I would want him to get revenge for me.
Yeah.
And the three people and the pause concept allows you to think bigger than that circle, bigger than that bubble. You know, would my mother want me to do that? My mom loves me. She invested in me like your mom.
Yeah.
You know, don't do this, I can't do that. And my mom was the same way. She wanted me to move forward, make sure I went to school, make sure I got it, make sure I had clothes. So I know that she wouldn't want me in a prison with a jumpsuit on for the remainder of my life, or 25 years. So at that moment, I had to think outside of that.
I'm sorry. I'm completely off the camera. You said your brother would want you to get revenge, but in your book, you do not say that.
Yes.
WJ is one of the people you listen to, and he would not want you to. So
that went, and I came to that concept later in life. Again, remember the pause then and now means something totally different. Because I was angry, I was in the moment, and I figured that my brother would want me to get revenge.
Okay.
Because that brotherly love, that brotherly bond. Yeah. You know, even in inner city, you know, with gangs or uncles or aunts or cousins, if somebody do something to your family member, the first thing you want to do is respond.
Yeah.
And get revenge.
Facts.
And that's how I was in that moment. But later on in life, my brother needed somebody to be there for his kid, his daughter, and his sons.
Okay.
You know, he needs a role model there to help guide them through life. Because if he can't be there, he'll want somebody that is close enough to him, somebody that loves him enough to be there to take on that position and move it forward.
Ah, good point. Very good point. Okay. All right.
So it's one of the hardest things not to be selfish and to think ahead and to think of others. It's very easy to think of yourself, to be intertwined and wrapped up in your own pain and your own moments. But if you just pause and ask yourself those 3 questions, you know, 3 people, and the reason why it's 3 people, because if it was 4, it'd be an even deadlock.
Two may want to, two may not. Got it.
And then you're that determining factor, like, yeah, it's gonna happen. Let's go.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go step outside of that boundary. And the great thing about the pause concept, if it's for something positive that you're doing, if you get 1 yes and 2 no's, then you should do it because you got the 1 supporting yes to do it. But if you get for something negative to do something, if you get 2 no's and 1 yes, then you shouldn't do it. I have what it means to me, but as a writer, I have a different vision than what the reader has.
Okay.
So it's interesting. That's why I love to hear feedback from different people. So. So how about this? You tell me what the concept means to you, the pause concept.
Okay, because you know I've read the book, right? Yes. And I have access to the author, which makes it even better. And I mean, the pause concept came off very much more deep to me than that. Like, I agree that you said you take the 3 people in your life, and at first I was like, I don't have 3 people, and it was more like 2 people, and then maybe 1 main person, and then I was like, okay, still, what would that look like for me? And the pause concept was really like that moment when you take the blame off the world, and you say, according to, if I was talking to my mom, because that's one of my 3 people, what would my mom say to me? And based off the conversation or the voice that I hear her saying it to me is how I would then respond versus my own emotions or how I'm feeling upset or I'm feeling like the victim. My mom would say, oh, Ken, you're not the victim. And that's who I hear. So I felt your pause concept gives you an opportunity to hear someone else speaking other than that voice that's telling you you were hurt and you should react by your feelings.
Yes.
They take you out of your feelings and into what they would expect of you.
I totally agree. And it's all based off of the relationship that you have with the person.
Yeah.
So like you say, if it's your mom, you have that personal relationship. You know that your mom wants to pour into you. You know that your mom loves you.
Yeah.
And your mom wants you to excel in life. So like you say, every decision that you make, you know that you're going to hear your mom's voice in you saying, you know, hey, Ken, you can do this or you can't do that, or, you know, this is safe and that is not.
Right. Yeah, so I believe your pause concept is much more significant in the book than just the story itself. It gives a person a moment to really sit down and write out. Sometimes I take my pad out and I go, well, in this situation that I caused or that I was a part of that really did hurt me, what could have been a different outcome? How could I have done something different? Or how could I now recover from such a horrible moment? Right.
And the crazy thing about it is with the pause concept, it gives you an opportunity to think forward. Because we normally get caught in the moment.
Yes.
And in that moment, we make those decisions based off of our emotions or our passion that we have for an object or a situation.
Yeah.
And that can a lot of times get us in trouble. So even with me, you know, now, today, I am a father and I have a son. But without that pause concept and me pausing then, my son wouldn't even be here. And I never could have saw my future to this point of writing this book or seeing any of the things that happen that's in the book because I was only stuck in that one moment, that selfish moment.
That's good. That's really good. I'm pretty sure a lot of the readers will definitely connect to that.
Yes.
So, you wrote a great book.
Thank you.
We're going to do some readings of this great book. And from my understanding, we're going to be doing a couple of interviews with some of the people in the book, right?
We are.
That's going to be dope.
Contact a couple of the guys and ladies in the book and have them come on the show.
Okay.
And allow them to give their point of view. Because sometimes whenever you read a book, you will hear the voice in your head. You kind of wonder, like, what do they look like?
Yeah.
You know, or what kind of personality they have.
Oh, absolutely.
So this will give the readers and the viewers an opportunity to see who each person is. And some people in the book have different names.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to share their real name, they can. So it's totally up to them. So I think the authenticity of this moment, you know, will definitely show in the book and in the video. So
yeah, because Tarrance knows there's this one chapter in the book, and I call him. I go, "Where is she? Is she still okay? Like, I need to know her. It's like she's my friend, right?" So I do. Meeting these characters is going to like open this book up for me even more. It's almost like it's a movie in the making.
Yes.
Great. You know, us coming together and doing this project has been so dope. I've been enjoying my Saturdays, even though you get me up super early. Don't really like that part. But you know what? Everybody needs to know how to get a hold of this copy of this great book, Face to Face. They need to know how to, you know, because I'm a woman, we're going to research you out the water. So how do they find out more about Tarrance Weaver? Where do they go to find out?
Well, you can follow me on social media, Facebook or Instagram, or you can actually order it online, Amazon, or get it from any bookstore. It's available.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So make sure to order Face to Face off your favorite bookstore online or Amazon, and we'll see you guys next week.